Excuse me. All
It's
right.
all lighting up now.
All right, so we've got some responses coming in.
Well, while we wait for responses, I'll do the welcome in and what we're going to be doing, and then we can go through the responses so we know how to pitch it.
Sure.
Let me introduce you guys first, though, just so
Absolutely.
that we can get that in there. So, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the last regular session, if you will. We still have the wrap up and Q&A, but for our last one here, thank you to Patricia Pereira and Jennifer Simmons. They are two teachers, third grade, if I recall correctly, down at Lothian Elementary. And we became aware of how they are using Teams and this functionality with the reading progress because of something that came through from their e-coach with our tech of our surveys and forums. And we thought this was something that many of you would find useful, particularly with the emphasis on reading and getting and collecting data and all of that. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to them. And ladies, take it away.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Patty Pereira, and Jen's going to be speaking as well. But in this session, we're going to explain exactly what we mean by reading progress assignments. They can be found on Teams and assigned that way. We'll show you some examples of our own students' assignments and the data that's been created from them that we can use. Walk you through the actual setup process. So if you're super inspired, you can even get going tomorrow. Share a bank of reading passages that we've pulled from iReady. I'm sorry, it's only first through third grade. So if you're in a higher grade, you can pull them and share them because we've created a shared bank. And, as we all know, many hands make the work lighter. And provide some real world examples of how we differentiate these assignments because we've got students reading well below grade level. We've got EL students, and Jen teaches the ALPS cohort. So we use it a little differently in our rooms, but both of us use it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, over to you, Jen.
Sure. So I'm looking at the poll, and we have some responses, and most have heard of Teams but have not used it before. So that really helps us gauge a little bit to start, because with Teams, it's super easy to upload rosters even when we do the Teams reading. So just to share a little bit with what I do. So at Lothian, we are departmentalized. So Patty and I both teach literacy. I have the ALPS kids in my afternoon cohort, and then my morning cohort has students who are on or just slightly below grade level. So we have set it up differently for both of our classrooms, but getting the same results and able to tracking using the same data. Now, I know some of you had said it won't let you use the poll. That's a Carrie. I have no idea what happens with that.
I'm honestly not sure why it's not letting them use it either. It should, but
okay.
We'll go with it.
All right.
Good old technology.
I know. So one of the reasons that we figured this out is we were looking at a lot of our students and their data points, and they just are not fluent readers. They don't make self-corrections. They do a lot of submissions or omissions when they are reading. So I started searching out a way of wanting to help, and Patty had used this before. So when we started planning, we really decided this was something that was great to use because every student, no matter their level, can read every day. And they actually love it.
They do. I used it last year with teaching high school ESOL students because a lot of them had very basic literacy skills. So it was just an opportunity for them to practice reading in a very low risk environment. They're wearing headphones, they've got a microphone, and that keeps it so they're not embarrassed. They're not reading in front of anybody.
Yeah.
And if any of you are in elementary, you know that students who need the extra reading time, they're getting pulled out for all of this intervention, which is so beneficial and important. However, it means that you probably don't get a chance to read with them every day. And frankly, just the time doesn't exist. So having this gives students an opportunity to read independently every day, and they are held to account because we can see if they've been reading or not. But let me just actually show you what I mean by teams reading. I'll share my screen with the teams I've got up. Ooh, no, I will not.
I'm gonna put a link to the Google Drive in the chat. This is the Google Drive that does have some of all of our session materials today.
Now, this is one example of a student who has completed an assignment. So I uploaded a 3rd grade reading passage for him to practice. Well, for the whole class. I did it for everyone. Well, not everyone, actually. Like we said, we do it a little differently because I have many students reading well below grade level. I have 2 teams that have been set up, and this is my 3rd grade level readers. So I've set this up, and this student, he has signed into Teams. He's clicked on the assignment, and then he recorded it. I'll show you a little clip of his recording, but you can see along the top, it gives me the reading rate. The words that he was given at the end, they decided he mispronounced 5 words and needed practice in them. And then you can see the color codes for mispronunciation, omissions, etc. And this is Giovanni in action.
A good idea. Every morning Dad drops me off at school. We wait in a long line of cars, slowly inching forward until it was my turn to get out. I would always see my neighborhood friends, Cam and Marcus, waiting in their parents' cars to warn.
Okay, so it would go on. He reads the entire passage. You can see he omitted these, although it is, I have to tell the students a lot of times, it is a computer, so sometimes it mishears. There's noise in the background because it is a classroom and I'm holding a group in the back or someone's come in. And then these 5 practice words you can view. They gave him these words to practice. It looks like he got them all in the first attempt, but sometimes it takes them a few tries. And underneath tools used, they'll read the word to the students, or they will provide a picture and the word, but the students are in control of how many of those that they use, because they can say, like, I don't know what that word means, or I don't know how to pronounce it. And so that way they're able to pronounce it when they're practicing it. Okay. Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. So one of the things that it does, so we've had to really walk these kids through and model the teams. So there's a question about, does it automatically code the whole recording? Yeah, everything is recorded automatically. Yeah, I felt that way the first time I was ever shown Teams reading. So the cool part is that you can upload any passage. So we use and have the drive for you guys to see all the iReady stories. And we'll show you how to get there and go through that because it's really simple. The kids, it took us about 3 solid weeks of just daily repetition to get in there. Some will pick it up easier than others. But we as teachers have it on our class link. They don't. Students have to go through OneDrive. So it took us a little bit step by step to get there. And we can show you exactly how to get there. I'm glad to see that there's so many comments and people are loving this. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. I have a million things. All right, let me share. Where is sharing my screen? It's been a while since I've had to do Google Meets.
Take that with heart,
The
guys.
square with a little arrow down at the bottom.
There we go. I gotcha.
We're not technical people, but we've mastered this. So it's easy to do.
Okay, so what I'm showing you is obviously my ClassLink Launchpad. So the teachers have we have this team that we get into. Ours, I don't know about Patty's, but mine comes automatic now. It's set so when I log in every morning, it pops up for me.
Yeah, mine's the same.
So when we get into Teams, it may ask you to sign in. The kids always go, why does it make me sign in again? Because it does. Just please sign in. So when we get in there, you can, you'll see a screen and it'll ask you if you want to join or create a team. So we can always start by creating this is where you create your own team. We've created one here for you if you want to join this one. So you can kind of walk through with us and do. So when you click it, when you click on the team, it'll allow you to join. Although Patty, it's saying it doesn't allow you. Oh, it's switch my tab. Sorry. Why does it not? No, share this then.
I thought I made it relatively public.
All right, there we go. Because I can't see my split screen. So yes, I'm presenting. So when you get here, this is the launch pad that comes up for teachers. So this is where you can create your team. If you have a code, you can join someone else's team. And then this is our demo team. So for me, we obviously are in each other's teams, but I have my homeroom and then I have a separate team for my afternoon cohort, my Alps kids, because I use different stories for them. When you get here, this is where the waffle has so many wonderful things. You can manage your team, add members, leave teams, edit teams. So if you have kids that, like we have, that have switched homerooms, so they're new cohorts or they've withdrawn, you can edit them from your team. It's super easy to add kids. I usually do, and I'll use my daughter. It's super easy. I just put in her student ID number, and I can add her to it, or you can click and type in their last name and just click on them, and it will allow you to add that student to your team. Is there anybody that has questions so far? Because I know technology can always be
Bit of a bear.
Yes.
Oh, and for this session's little Google Drive, I uploaded 3 little how to make a team, how to upload a reading assignment or a reading progress assignment. Yes, there we go. For the session 5. And they've been put into we've got a team PLC where we put all the same things. And then also we've created a team for practicing. So there's a reading progress assignment on there that you could try independently. So you've seen it on the student side, what they're looking at, so you can kind of understand how it works.
Perfect. All right. Patty, do you want to show them how to upload some? I'll stop sharing and you can show them how to upload stories.
Okay, yes. So we've created that bank, those reading passages. They're just from the reading fluency part in iReady. There's a teacher toolbox with those. So sat there and downloaded them. Took like a while, but they're there now. So that's very convenient. Let me get my group up. So let's see if I share window Teams. There we go. So I'm sharing this. So this is if I go in, I've got a group number 1 here and then my group number 2, and then that's that practice one for you guys. So I go into my group and then assignment. And then from assignment, when it loads, it'll ask me if I would like to add a new one. But because I'm presenting in front of everyone, it's taking some time. Okay. So here's create. So I click on create and I want a new one. I'll call it March 8th because that's tomorrow, and I'll have that set up for my students. And I go to learning accelerators. This is where it is. It's the magic. You go to reading progress. Search progress is something different that is probably very beneficial for high school. Heads up for other tech people. I want to go to import Word or PDF. They do have a sample library, but these are the ones from iReady. I know they're good. I saved mine in OneDrive because I like to use OneDrive.
It did not make me download Teams. It was already on my class link.
And then I just choose right now. What I've been doing is making them read the same passage all week long. They read it once a day during the DRI block. So they read the same one because the first time they don't do the world's best job, because that's the idea that I'm improving their fluency, getting the sight word vocabulary increased. I don't mind how many attempts they make. I don't fuss with the reading level or the genre. I only put a time limit on it to put a sense of urgency. As this is the end of the week, I'm going to scale it up to 3 minutes, but I normally do about 5, only because the first couple of videos, they put their headphones, they'd start and they'd stare into space because they're children. And then pronunciation sensitivity. I have a high amount of ELs in my class, so I put it to less sensitive. Otherwise, it'll pull them up on a lot more mistakes than are necessary. This comprehension, reading coach is where they choose the 5 words that they've made the most mistakes on. So I like to keep that. I didn't add a comprehension because I tried that when it was a new feature, and they aren't allowed to look back at the text. So I thought, well, that's not what I want to be practicing. So I just moved on from that. Now I've got my learning accelerator on. It's for all current students. I like the little reflect check-in. It just says, how did you find it? Good, happy, sad, that sort of thing. And then I'm ready to just assign it. And then here it is, ready to go for tomorrow. And then the students will find it and they can click into it. And while I have this up, you saw specifically that I had looked at one assignment, but if I go to Insights, that's where all of the real data is, or that's where you get your long-term ones. So this is just the loose, but I go into reading, my reading fluency trends. This is the whole group. This is pretty nice. It let me know reading accuracy, mispronunciation, omissions, insertions. But this is a very nice graph for over time, because I like, line graphs show you changes over time, and you can see they're reading faster and their accuracy is remaining relatively consistent. You can see it goes up every week because they read the same passage, so they should be more accurate. But as it's remaining the same, but they're reading more quickly, that tells me they're improving. Their fluency is going up. Now that's very general. It's a very broad look. So if I wanted to look at just this one student here up the top, I can. And that's where I find I've had 1 or 2 students, they whisper. So it says that they read 0 words, which I think, but he's remaining pretty consistent with the class. Here he's got some zeros. So that means he didn't use a mic or there was some problem. And the same, you can see across the way. So it's very nice. Then you have the phonics rules. I like to mix it up so I have the least, but 85% to me is not a major problem that needs practice. So I kind of think, okay, well, he's doing pretty well. And I can do that with any student. You can create a specific phonics assignment, which I sometimes do with my students in foundations. Since we're doing a specific phonic rule, it behooves them to practice it. But otherwise, it doesn't provide any practice. It just gives them the words to read.
Right.
So that has limited potential.
So there is some questions on here. Can we show what it looks like from the student side? And do we have them use the headset? So yes. So we actually have in our building some older headsets from WIDA testing. So we use the headphones with the mics that we have, but you can buy them. They're like, what, $6 or $7 off of Amazon. We just bought a bunch more. So they are using their Chromebook. They're plugging it in. They will have to say allow for the mic to be used and the video the first time. That was a little bit of a struggle, but I can say that our ESOL teacher did tell us that our third graders this year were so much better with the listening and the speaking component this year of their RETA testing because we had been practicing over and over with them with the mics. So it's really cool.
It has been. And because one thing with WIDA, it's the speaking and the listening, those two domains, or sorry, the speaking and the reading that this would really impact, because speaking with the mic, when you're not used to it, is very nerve wracking. And then of course the reading, because they're getting reading every single day. And one thing we both noticed that was different is they like to watch themselves afterward, which I think is really great. Because then they're listening to another story and they might like, oh, I didn't pronounce that right. And so the next day they put a little more effort. Hopefully. I mean, having said that, I've been looking through a lot of videos today to make sure I had a nice clean example. And there are a lot of children poking each other and giggling. One boy put on a fake British accent when he was reading. But in all of those instances, they were reading. So I thought, that's fine.
Now with, yes, it does build stamina. Yes, so the SIPS probably has the same way to use a lot of the selections. We have, I have the ALPS kids, so what I will do is I will scan on the copier at school and, no, get rid of the dog, please. Sorry. So I will scan the book on the copier and scan it to my drive at school, and then I'll upload it the same way that we do with the iReady stories, because with the ALPS kids, a lot of times we're doing the different organizers that go with those pieces, vocabulary mapping. So we take those stories, and after they read them, I do have them use and vocabulary map a lot of the words that they're missing. So we incorporate that into a lot of the William and Mary that we're doing. So it does make it easier.
And then from the student side, if you guys join that second teams, you can do it yourself, because it is a little different. What it does is they click on the assignment and it says, like, it shows themselves on video. And after it's asked for the permission, they're looking at it and it says ready. So they click on it and it does a big 3, 2, 1, and then they can start reading. It takes a little getting used to, but they're all little pros at it now. They know how to do it. And it's been very effective. They really enjoy it.
And one of the things I like about it too is when they go back to get ready to, like, we can see who has turned it in, who is not. And then sometimes you can leave them little feedback and it'll send it to them, and they can see it, and the kids love it because then they get to use their emojis. So I'm actually going to click on this. Patty, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show this for a second.
Oh.
So this one, so when they log in to their teams, they're going to see this window. They see the title. It'll tell them when it is due. And then they click here on their story. And so it'll tell me that I haven't recorded anything yet. And we get that a lot because kids will just come in and say, oh, there's the story. That's what I'm going to do. And then they look at it, they close it, they turn it in. They haven't actually read the story at all. So, and then if like you have kids, I have some kids, I have one who just will not read with a mic. So they read it with me kind of sitting and not recording. So that is also an option also. Let's see, we've got a question in the chat. All right. So it's saying it won't let them join.
So I think I'll just, if you put your email in, I'll just add you. We'll just do it that way. And then once I get you guys into the teams, we can communicate there later afterward as well. And then I saw, how can I upload these? And you can upload them. I guess you can share them to the file section under Teams, and we can make like a grade 4, a grade 5, and onward, because like I said, ESOL, it goes all the way up to grade 12 if you need it. Or high school, if you need kids reading fluently and a quiet activity that they can do, it's there. Although Mike's an independent.
Now it does give you the option to, and let me show you. So where we had looked at the learning accelerators before, in the assignment, let me see if it's going to load. There we go. So instead of importing, they do have a sample library that already has stories in them from ReadWorks. ReadWorks is used in a lot of the some of the private schools. I know that my daughter used a lot of ReadWorks stories when she was at Summit because of the dyslexia. So they are a little bit passages that some of the other schools are used to seeing. It'll tell you whether it's fiction or nonfiction. It'll tell you how many words, and then you can actually preview the story to see what the story is. Like for instance, I know this word, my ELs, we had to pre-teach marshmallows because a lot of them didn't know what that was. So it does give you that time and GUI. The other word we looked at was GUI. What does that mean? So we did talk about a lot of these words with some of the ELs before I actually gave them to them and let them read it, just so that they had a background knowledge. But you can pick anything from K to 6 all the way to secondary. Most of my on-level and below-level kids, I use a lot of second grade just because the Lexile version is a little bit easier for them. And some of the words that they use are not as complex. But you upload those the same exact way. All right, Carrie says we have 5 minutes. Anybody have questions or need some help walking through?
Yes, because sorry, I didn't know. I thought giving a link to people in our same community would be fine, but
Sure, we can tell you. So students are going to go to OneDrive on their class link. And then when they get to OneDrive, and let me get mine to show you. So when they get to OneDrive, they're going to go over here to their app launcher, their big waffle. And then they click on Teams. And then when they click on the Teams, it will automatically send it there. It's Jennifer. My email's JM Simmons, and I'll put that in the chat. If you guys have questions, please feel free to. Email us, because I know this doesn't give us too much time.
yes, go on.
Pereira, right?
Yeah, PM Pereira. There's another P Pereira. I assume. But we'll like once I'll add everyone to the PLC team as well, so that people can like we can communicate, we can chat, and we can share tips because this is what we've had time to do. And even today, like given a bit more time to explore, I discovered that I can let the students see the the progress they've made, those omissions and everything, because that wasn't an option before. Because they keep improving it too. Teams has changed since I've started using it, and I thought, I wonder if my higher level students would benefit from seeing that, because some of them putting on that English accent or poking each other, they might be a bit like, oh, I missed all those words, you know, and some of them they mumble through it and they think I did say that, but it didn't hear me. So they might put more effort into enunciation. And when they see you get a little grade for expression as well, you get a percentage for monotone or for skipping a period, and they can see all that. And if they can see that, that might kind of inspire some improvement, I would like to imagine.
Just something in the chat. So yes, this is great data to use for conferences, and we also use it for some of our kids who are on CDM as some of their other data points to track them to get them through the CDM process. So lots and lots of data points. I know that we are almost out of time. We could spend all day talking about Teams because we love it and it's so beneficial. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. We would love to answer them. And if you need, walk through whatever, we're happy to do that. And we do appreciate you coming today and enjoying the world of Teams with us.
Well, we'd like to thank you for volunteering to do this. Again, they are not e-coaches, ladies and gentlemen that are here. So I kind of put them on the spot when I reached out and said, hey, we would like you to do this. What do you think? And they're like, right away, they were absolutely no problem. So definitely a big round of applause for them for kind of going outside their comfort zone today and sharing this with us.
Thank you.
With that in mind, I did drop the attendance link in the chat. So if you need to, that is pinned. Please take a moment and fill that out. Ms. Simmons, Ms. Pereira, thank you so much again for today. I hope you've enjoyed the day as well, since you got to attend all day. And I will be in contact with you just so you know about figuring all this out from today and all that good stuff. So thank you both so much. I have to bounce, so I'm going to stop the recording because I have to jump over into our wrap up. And I will see you all